I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with the feeder flash for Wednesday, August the 8th, where the calf buyers came out in the heat to try to get some numbers together now that these yearlings are starting to kind of dry up around, and we're starting to see more calves come to town so they can get a little better offerings and maybe put some loads together. But it's time to get the early run on the calves, and some of the guys that think they might have some wheat to graze are looking for some real lightweights. Other guys looking for bigger calves to background. Out west, maybe looking for some calves to buy to turn out on some grass in the northern areas and places that aren't on fire. But let's look at the board for Tuesday, October. Live cattle down 62 cents, 110.92. August down 32 cents at 110.07. That's our spot market at almost straight up 110. Our most recent established price was 114, and here we are well into August. But the 2019 live cattle contracts were sharply lower, $1.40 and more. So kind of a rough start to the week here as far as the board goes, but you know what that means. It'll turn right back around. Those guys get a quick turn back on their money, and we'll find some support here later in the week. October feeder cattle down 277. To end the day at 149.50. Your beans were up pretty good, but really corn didn't move at all. But August spot feeder cattle down $2 even at 149.85. Fat cattle, it did have a few cleanup sales here early in the week. On Monday, Nebraska sold about 3,600 head at 112.5, with the board down a little bit, and some of those guys thinking maybe they better go ahead and take what they can get. They got 112.5. Then on Tuesday, we had 480 head of cattle sell in Iowa, direct negotiated heifers at 109. They were starting to get a little spooked with that board down hard on Tuesday morning. But Nebraska sold another 900 head at 112. So, you know, it hadn't completely fallen out of bed. And I think with the down market early in the week, guys just kind of need to stay hooked and see what happens later on. Western Video Market having the second day of their two-day sale in Cheyenne. They sold most of the yearling cattle on Monday. Tuesday come in with a lot of strings of ranch calves, including here Diamond Cattle Company from Alpha Ranch, Nevada. Had 125 head of weaned steer calves. No special programs on them, just good ranch calves, but all weaned, long time weaned there, weighing just 390 pounds at 233.50, and that's for early November delivery. Look at some conditions now. Missouri corn is the worst in the United States as far as the rating. I was just up in Missouri last week. It looks like death. I tell you what, the corn crops out there, as short as they are and as dried out as they already are, they look like wheat fields that are ready to combine. But it's bad up there. I've told you on a prior visit that you can't get too scared about Missouri corn, because there's counties in Iowa that grow more corn than the state of Missouri, and that's true. Maybe not literally, but it's not a huge corn state, Missouri. It's more cattle and a lot of different other things, but it's terrible out there. They did get some rain in the Kansas City area on Tuesday morning. Talked to some guys who got an inch of rain. Some of them got more than that. That's the first rain they've seen quite a bit, and when it takes over an inch to keep you just kind of steady, you really feel it. Now down here in the desert, you know, we can go months without a rain. It's not that big a deal because we're used to it. But when you've got to have more than an inch of rain just to kind of keep things at par, that's tough when you don't get any rain all summer long. But your real-time index on Beef Market Central late in the day on Tuesday, sitting at 149.98, still right around 150. That was down 50 cents from the close on Monday. Your CME cash feeder cattle index for Monday ended at 150.06. So you think that real-time index isn't a good indicator of what your cash feeder cattle index is, so if it's real-time. Now, of course, neither one of them can really stay at par. Maybe they are right now, but the futures contracts, they're a lot more volatile, but those cash index levels you can kind of count on those. Let's look at some on-site cattle auctions on Tuesday. OKC West at 3,000 head of calves for the calf sale on Tuesday. Steer calves sold $3 to $6 higher. Heifer calves steady to firm. Look at a good steer quote out of El Reno there. 87 head of 509-pound steers bring 176 in the ring right there at El Reno, Oklahoma. West Plains, Missouri, Ozarks Regional Stockyards. Look at your online report here at Cattle Market Central. That's an automated report. You see some of those main classes of steers there. Look on the trends on the weighted average there appear to be from $1 to $6 higher with the full advance on 5-weight steer calves there. Look at the steer calves. 444 head of steer calves average 555 pounds at 158.68. Those would be some good, long, stretchy kind of good condition cattle there with a little bit of continental cross in them, the kind you'd really like. Look at some other quotes there. Kingsville Livestock Auction. Talked to my friend Jimmy Long there, cattle buyer in that area, west central Missouri. He gave me a description on these cattle here out of Kingsville. From Stover, Missouri, had a big long string of cattle there, mostly black, had a few dark-nosed Charolais and some solid red cattle on them. Getting just a little bit of supplemental feeding on the dry grass. Now you guys, when you get into that wheat grass, like your fescue pastures in Missouri, a lot of those cattle really need a little bit of supplemental feeding, but not too much you get them too fleshy. 1% is what these cattle were getting. That's enough. 1% of their body weight will help those cattle grow and get the full effect out of that grass when they're on kind of wheat grass or just decent hay. That's enough to give them where they start putting on flesh. Now, when I was out in the Flint Hills driving through there last week, they look as good as they have all summer long when you get in the meat of the Flint Hills down around Cassidy. But those cattle, I saw some cattle in the Flint Hills weighing over 1,000 pounds on that good Flint Hill strong grass, and those cattle look like they was on full feed, just shining out in the sun there and starting to put some flesh on. But that wheat grass, that fescue grass there around Kingsville, Missouri on the western side of the state, in the central portion there, getting 1%, but still fairly green and not too fleshy. 134 of those steers weighed 707 pounds at 165 in the ring at Kingsville, Missouri. Now, Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington out east, we've been watching how those good put together yearlings can sell out there, and that's the best way for them to add value to their calves. Don't just sell them at 300 or 400 pounds right off the cow. Keep them in the country, put some weight on them, make load lots of yearlings out of them. That's how you put value to those cattle out there out east, you guys. But in Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington, 120 head of steers weighed 892 pounds at 152.75. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.